Hey everybody, just as with the top 10 Dark Souls 2 area video, I've pulled the Souls Talk live VOD from Twitch where I revealed the results of the Dark Souls 3 boss difficulty ranking as voted by you, the fans. I apologize once again if the audio quality is subpar since I pulled it straight from the stream, but I hope you all enjoy. Let's just dive right into it, as I always say. Number 26, sorry. Number 26, unsurprisingly, Deacons of the Deep. Is anybody shocked? Is anybody shocked to see... I spent a lot of time on these cards making them. My ranking, so this is 2 lower than where I ranked them. I ranked them at 24. I just said Half-Light on my list because there's 26 on this list, 25 on mine. I just said I probably would have ranked PvE Half-Light at 14 and PvP Half-Light at 13, so I just went with that. So the Deacons didn't change. The Deacons were the easiest before. They're still the easiest. They got voted the second worst boss, and they won the easiest boss vote with 31.5% of the vote and 1.81 difficulty out of 10. So, I mean, what is there? Like, I've talked about the bosses a lot, so I won't stay on each one for too long. What's there to say, man? The Deacons are fucking easy. We all know it. The Alluring Skull makes them even more easy. Like, the Deacons... You're a joke. Like, I personally don't hate this fight as much as other people do. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's fine. I respect what FromSoft tried to do here. They tried to make a puzzle fight. FromSoft, I'm sorry, you're not the best at puzzle fights. You did the best you could. Thank you for your effort. A for effort. B, maybe B plus for effort. Yeah, Deacons are just a decoy. Never died to them. I've died to the Deacons. Okay, I died to the Deacons in my first playthrough because I didn't... When I saw a curse come up on my screen, I didn't know what it was, and it freaked me. 25, Ancient Wyvern only beat out Deacons by 0.03 points. Is the third worst boss. It's tied for 21st best boss. I guess that's not there. But it got voted second easiest boss. No change from the old ranking. I ranked it a bit higher because people talked a lot. I guess I should address this now because I'm going to talk about it eventually if I don't. People thought I ranked my rankings based off how I would handle things in a speedrun, which isn't necessarily true. If I ranked my shit based on a speedrun, Ancient Wyvern would have been in the top 10. Because that's one of the places you can lose the run really easy, because you just run past all the enemies or do the skip. So Ancient Wyvern would have been top 10. In a regular playthrough, Ancient Wyvern's not bad at all. But my thing is, the reason I ranked it higher is because even in a regular playthrough, I still run past all the enemies because I fucking hate those little dragon snake shits. So, yeah. Fuck them. Fuck him. Axe and Chain, please. Indeed. Axe and Chain is ridiculous. Yeah, I think this is the worst, maybe the worst boss. Maybe. I don't know. We got another one that's pretty bad, but not much to say. Like I said, we know Wyvern. It's a fucking joke. High Lord Wolnir comes in at 24. That was my easiest boss in the game. I think Wolnir is a joke. And Wolnir is actually, like, from the old rankings, he's actually the biggest mover and shaker from the old rankings. I don't know why. I can't believe this, but he was ranked at fucking 12. He was ranked at 12 in the original ranking. I don't know why. He was ranked in, like, the middle of the pack. What the actual fuck, everybody? What? Like, hold on, let me pull it up. I have the old survey data. These are all the bosses that came below him. Deacons, fair enough, I guess. Ancient Wyvern, fair enough. Yorm, okay, I can see that, I guess. Vort, okay, alright. Crystal Sage, what? Edex Gundyr, yeah. Curse Rod of Greatwood, I mean, yeah, none of those bosses are, like, that hard, but still, man. What the fuck? How did he get ranked? Well, whatever. Whatever. I don't know. I died to the poison a bunch of times in my first playthrough, so, whatever. Thank you, Ansod, for the $3. Gale better be best boss. Thanks, DMod, for the enjoyable Souls videos. I do the best that I can. I'm glad you enjoy them. Thank you very much for the support. We will see who is the best boss. We shall see. But he was the 4th worst boss, 3rd easiest boss. Yeah. Wolnir, whatever. 25 was Ancient Wyvern, do with tacos, and Deacons was 26. So, yeah, Wolnir. Easy peasy. Number 23, Yorm. What does the Rodney do? Get no respect. Get no respect at all. Yorm the Giant, he gets no respect. He really doesn't. He's not hard. Don't get me wrong. Not a hard boss. But 8th worst boss in the game. I don't know. I personally like Yorm. He managed to come for best boss like near the middle of the pack. You're like, fuck yeah. There were so many shitty giant fights in Dark Souls 2. Give me a good giant fight. And instead they made it a Storm Ruler throwback to Demon Souls, and that was kind of disappointing. But to me, It's a puzzle boss done well. It's one of the few they've ever done well in the series. I thought it was good. But there's no denying, we're not talking about quality here. We're talking about difficulty mainly, and there's no denying that it's a fucking easy boss. It's a really easy boss. But I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. But then you see who comes next on the list. Like, let's just move on to the next one. 22, Edex Gundyr. Yes, for new players who were new to the game, I'm sure Edex Gundyr was hard for you on your first playthrough. I'm sure it was difficult for you. But now, come on. I can kill Edex Gundyr in my sleep. I mean, this isn't my ranking. This is your ranking, so whatever. You're totally justified to your opinion. And he actually moved down one. He was actually higher, I guess, before. I think Yorm, or no, not Yorm. Wolnir getting knocked down kind of shook things up. But yeah, he gained a couple spots from my ranking. He was low as shit on mine. I think he came in after Wolnir actually. Because Gundyr's easy, man. He's just easy. Take any of the classes in the beginning, and I could beat him at this. No hard bosses for me in this game anymore, and that's not because I think the bosses are easy on the whole or anything like that. And I think you're a fucking scrub. Get good if you can't beat the bosses. No, I'm not an elitist like that. It's just that I've practiced the game so much. I did so many speedruns that nothing in the game's hard for me anymore. That doesn't mean the game's not hard. It means it's not hard for me. But yeah, I should say that too. I ranked the bosses in my ranking based on, I just thought to myself, if I used a weapon that I've never used before in the game, which bosses would I find the hardest? And we'll get to some that people thought were pretty controversial. But yeah, Edex Gundyr, I think it's more a product of the bosses below him being easy, not necessarily him being hard. Number 21, Vort, yet again, like, Vort's easy too. I mean, and you can see it too, even though the Deacons got ranked 1.81, like, Vort's 2.25. Like, no one's really ranking these high. Like, these are all just really, really easy bosses. They just are. Like, there's a lot of easy bosses in this game. Not bad, though. I don't think Edex is bad. I don't think Yorm is bad. I don't think Vort is bad. I don't even think the Deacons are bad. I think the Ancient Wyvern is shit. I think Yorm, or not Yorm, I think Wolnir is kind of eh. But Vort's alright. I like smacking that fat ass. Smack that booty, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he moved up too in this ranking, actually. Again, of product of like other people moving below him. I think Yorm and Edex moves under him. But yeah, let's just glaze through the really easy ones. Cursed Rod of Greatwood, winner or worst boss with 32.4% of the vote, which let me look at my data here. I'm pretty sure that was a significant portion of the vote too, I think. I wrote it down. What was it? It was 2 times more votes than the one in second place. It had a lot of votes for worst boss, like a lot of fucking votes. Boss, we're moving on. We're moving on from this. Crystal Sage. Crystal Sage actually went up 3 from the old ranking, and again, I think that's a product of what moved below it. I remember saying in my original community ranking that I was like, I couldn't understand why it was so low, but our ranking was the same. It's not super easy. If you're doing a low HP build, then it can actually be a little challenging. And this is where we started to bump up a little bit. 3.54, like we're actually starting to bump up a little bit in difficulty. But again, it's just... Crystal Sage isn't very hard unless you're a low HP build. Like, if it's a low HP build, I can totally understand why you would struggle with this boss. I think that's really the only reason this boss is any more difficult than any other ones. But if you don't have low HP and or you upgrade your weapon well before coming to the stage, it's just pretty easy peasy. But one-shots still are a possibility. Number 18, Half-Light PvE. I think Half-Light PvE had by far the lowest votes overall, like the least people voted, because I don't think a lot of people fought the PvE version. The PvP version had like 1,000 to 2,000 more votes. There were 5,400 votes in the survey, which is fucking amazing, guys. It really was. That's another reason why I wanted to deliver these. You guys put the effort into vote, so really wanted to bring them to you. A little bit different than my ranking. I put Half-Light PvE higher because I think it is easy to die in the fight just because Half-Light puts out a lot of damage. That's the main reason. And I just think some of the bosses that are ranked otherwise are easier. But the funniest thing, and yeah, you said it, Gwendolyn, this is the only thing out of all the worst, best, hardest, easiest, out of all those, This is the only thing out of the entire ranking that received 0 fucking votes. 0 votes for best boss. No one out there out of the 5,400 some people that voted thought that this was the best boss. Which is understandable. I agree, but nobody. You voted for best boss, maybe the PvP version, I don't know. I'm just saying, that's what the survey data said. Survey says nobody voted for it. But yeah, it's not so bad. It's not so bad as long as you're not greedy. It's really just about getting greedy in the fight. Number 17, Grave Tender and Great Wolf. Again, now we're getting almost to 5 out of 10, so we're getting close to the middle. Pretty much middle range for easiest boss. No one really thought it was that hard. It actually got almost no votes. I think it had like 1 vote for best boss. And it got ranked pretty high for worst boss, because I agree. This boss sucks. This boss sucks like most of Arendelle sucks. Sorry, that might be polarizing, but it's a shitty boss, man. And it's not very hard either. It's Discount Sif and his fucking NPC comrade with a couple of dogs. Yeah, Discount Sif. No. Yeah, the wolf is very fast. The wolf is very fast. I agree. I'm pretty shit at dodging the wolf, but I always have bitch vigor by the time I got here, so y'all know I love me some bitch vigor. So I don't know. The fucking wolf is, it's not hard, it's not enjoyable, and this is what I mean. We're starting to get to the middle where I'm like, what do I really say about this? Like, I don't have any strong opinion in one direction. I mean, I think it's shit, but from a difficulty perspective, like, yeah, you can die because it puts out high damage, but still. Old Demon King comes in the middle. He went down 1 from his old ranking. I said it, most of my opinion is just going to be the same from my other thing. It's so easy to come here late game and just wreck him, but he does have good damage, so if you do come here in the mid game, like after fighting Volnir, he's actually pretty hard. So, I don't know, it's pretty divisive. Like, it just really depends on when you fight the Old Demon King. Because some of his AoEs really, I do think, are hard to dodge, personally. I think it's pretty challenging. But, yeah, kind of old meh king. Weebotros got it. LOL, really? Yeah, indeed. LOL, really? Yeah. He's not very hard in the late game. He's really not. But if you did face him in the middle of the game, I can totally see where you'd be coming from. And then we take a considerable jump from 4.89 to 6.0. So now we're, like, beyond the halfway point. So the top 15 are really where we're starting to get some of the bosses people, like, start to be challenged by. Personally, this was one of the ones we disagreed with heavily. I put Osiris a lot higher because I personally have had issues with Osiris in the past. I think in my Soul Level 1 run, I think Osiris may be the boss I died to the most, actually. Because that YOLO charge. That YOLO charge is just insane. In terms of all the voting, he got, like, kind of middle of the pack. He moved up 1 in this ranking from the old ranking, but still... So I guess maybe people agreed a little bit, but still, Osiris really... Didn't get her respect. You fucking memers. You fucking meme chef. Ocelot! Yeah, You memesters. I see what you're doing over there. Yeah, Osiris is a good boss. I do like Osiris. I'm just not... It's kind of just like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Like, get over here! Like, in the second phase. Like, it just runs away all the time. It's fucking annoying. But from a difficulty perspective, it's really just... how well you're able to dodge his attacks and stick to that ass. Like, you gotta stick to his ball sack in the first phase, and you gotta stick to his ass in the other one. You know what, dude? I just realized this whole time, have I not had my camera on this whole time? Whatever. It's too late now. We can't go back. I didn't have it on. I didn't realize I didn't have it on. Fucking rip. Alright, anyway. Hi, I'm here now. Number 14, Abyss Watchers, which is only... down 1 from the original ranking, which kind of surprises me. I thought that after a lot of experience in the game, yeah, I'm fucking dumb, guys. I didn't know I wasn't on the screen. Anyway, moving on from my dumb mistakes, it's kind of hard for me to see Abyss Watchers still being here. I see why they were where they were on the original list, but at the same time, it's just hard to understand why they'd still be this high. But then again, when you see what comes in front of them, maybe it'll make more sense. I mean, I guess I wouldn't really rank anything behind them as harder. I don't know. I put a couple bosses higher. Mine was +4. So I had them a lot lower on my list, but I don't know. Abyss Watchers can be challenging. They can. It really depends on how much you're leveled up and have upgraded your weapon and everything when you get there. But they did get second best boss, which I thought was actually pretty surprising. I do love Abyss Watchers, don't get me wrong. I put them top 10, and I still think they're an amazing boss. I was just surprised. I thought a lot of the DLC bosses would overtake Abyss Watchers, but no. Abyss Watchers got the second most votes. They got about, I think it was about 10% of the votes went to Abyss Watchers, which is very, very reasonable. Very, very good boss. Nameless King, you're here for your ranking? Yeah, you're going to have to wait a little bit. Spoiler alert. All right, number 13. So we're making it to the middle of the list. That's the one on the bottom of the middle. This is the one on the top of the middle. So Half-Life PvP. Obviously not easy to rank a PvP boss because it's just going to depend on a bunch of different factors. What's your build? What's the opponent's build? Did you bring summons? Did you not bring summons? Do you suck at PvP? Are you good at PvP? Is your opponent good at PvP? Does your opponent suck at PvP? I mean, it's really, really not easy to rank it all. So there's not much to say about it. It's just a totally random experience. I know that they nerfed some things about Half-Life, but I don't know what, really. I think it was like the host HP. I think the host HP scaled, or the invaders HP scaled depending on the amount of summons or something they have. I do think this whole thing was cool. I think it was cool to bring the idea of the old monk back. I don't think the execution was perfect. I talked about that more on my DLC review if you want to know my full opinion on it, but make haste, yeah. Absorption, yeah. R1, R1. If your opponent DCs, you can get full HP Half-Life, yeah. I don't know. The experience here is going to be so different. This might be the hardest boss for you in the game if you suck at PvP like I do. This might be the easiest. Like, I think when I did on stream, when I originally streamed the DLC, I streamed 2 playthroughs of it. And when I got to Half-Life, the first time it was PvE, I was offline. And the second time I was like, okay, I'll go online for it. I think it took me like 4 fights to win because I'm fucking horrible at PvP. Just wasn't very good. The fight is hard in one-on-one in PvP, I think, though, because the Painting Guardian really does swiggity swooty a lot. It's pretty harsh. Number 12, Dragon Slayer Armor. Tied for least easy boss, so he just didn't really get any votes for easy, but he still came in the middle of the pack otherwise. Went up 1 from my ranking and the old ranking. I can see him being here. Dragon Slayer Armor really, as I've said before, is dependent on RNG. If he's really heavy, uses the shield, it's really hard. It can be really difficult when he's using the shield a lot because you can't really do anything about it. But if he gives you nice RNG and does a lot of the slam attacks and stuff like that, then it's not so bad. But definitely, I think where the difficulty starts to ramp up, in my opinion. I think that's what I said in my thing too. Yeah, the Bloody Turtle King. Yeah, this is good placement. I think that he definitely deserves to be right at the bottom of the middle area. Number 11, Aldrich, which went 1 down from the previous ranking, and I'd say I agree. Aldrich is definitely harder than the Dragon Slayer Armor. I think this is a good spot for Aldrich. He's middle of the pack pretty much for everything else, and I think Aldrich probably went down a little bit just because when it first came out, a lot of players didn't know how to handle Aldrich because you didn't know what would cause his magic. But once we figured out how to manipulate him, it got a lot easier. Like, you can kind of avoid his magic, you can avoid his arrows and stuff like that, and it makes the fight much more doable. But arrows, yeah, I've talked about it many a time. Fuck arrows in this fight. Fuck them. Of course, I would use a thumbnail for it with arrows, but yeah, the arrows are brutal. The arrows are brutal. No, it's not a girl. It's, well, Gwendolyn's a boy, but was raised as a girl, I think is the lore. But I don't know if... I'm not getting into this shit. I was about to say, I don't know if Gwendolyn identifies as a female. I'm not getting into this shit. We're not talking about this. No. Fine. Good ranking. Moving on. Number 10. Okay. This one we're going to have to talk about for a minute because this was definitely... I read the comments on my Dark Souls 3 video. Don't think that I didn't. And I saw people were very, very annoyed about where I ranked Dancer. People were very, very annoyed. It got 8 out of 10. 7th hardest boss. Pretty decent on best boss. It dropped 2 from the old ranking, and it was 7 lower than mine. Okay. I want to come out and say this because I'm going to have the opportunity to talk about it. I feel like I watched the video back, and in the video, I put the speedrun strat for the dancer where I kill the dancer without taking a single hit in about 20 seconds. Obviously, no. I don't think the dancer is insanely hard. I don't think any bosses in DS3 are insanely hard anymore. But the one thing for me personally, and the reason I put dancer at number 3 on my list was because in the second phase, like the first phase is Resident Sleeper. Like you can really easily get through the first phase as long as she doesn't go insane on you somehow. But in the second phase, she has a couple like 8-hit combos that are pretty hard to deal with. So, as I said, I ranked that ranking thinking like, okay, if I went through with maybe like a strength build, something I'm not comfortable with, would I do well at the dancer? Probably not. It would probably take me a little while to fight her. Funny enough, when I did my Soul Level 1 run, I one-shot the dancer. I did her on my first try. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever, man. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It was hard to make my DS3 ranking because I'm so biased to work, like, with knowing speedrun strats and stuff that it's difficult, honestly. But I do think the dancer is hard in the second phase. But obviously, people don't agree. They do think she's pretty hard. I don't think this is bad placement. I don't at all. Considering what's above it and what's below it, I don't think this is bad placement. Maybe you need to get good. You did her good. I did her real good. I got that booty real good. All right, number 9, Champion Gundyr, just above the dancer. 9th hardest boss, 8th best boss. Good stuff. He has moved up since the old ranking, and I gotta be honest, that kind of surprises me. I do not think 9 is bad placement for Champ. That's where I placed him. It surprises me that he moved up because I would think that after more time with this boss, that people would know how to deal with him better. Like, I would think after practice, you would know how to parry him, which, by the way, I hope... I got a lot of comments, too, that my whole Pontiff, like, parrying thing during that section of the video actually helped people, so I'm glad. Because I didn't get parrying before that either, until someone explained that to me. But I figured after time he would actually go down, because, like I said, people would learn to parry, learn how to deal with his more tough attacks. Like, I complained so much about the YOLO Stundeer charge, but I can parry it now, and I know how to deal with it. So I figured everyone else would too, but potato, potato, tomato, tomato, Gundyr's gonna go up your assholio. I don't know. So it's a fine spot. That's where I ranked him, but I just was surprised about that, to be honest. Champ is easy because he's so easily parryable. Yeah, he's like Gwyn. It's very dependent on can you parry. If you can parry, he's a joke, just like Pontiff. But if you can't, much harder fight. So yeah. First DLC boss that actually is considered difficult. I don't think Half-Light's really considered that difficult. I gotta be honest. I'm surprised to see the Demon Prince come this low. I thought the Demon Prince was going to be in the top 5. It's one lower than my ranking. I don't think the Demon Prince is a top 5 hardest boss, but I actually thought that because of the gankiness and the length of the fight that people were going to find this fight to be harder. And this actually did surprise me. But it's pretty much in line with everything. People didn't think it was that bad of a boss. They thought it was a middle of range in terms of best boss, which actually surprised me too. I thought people liked this fight more. No one really thought it was easy boss and 10th hardest. Pretty surprising. Pretty surprising to me. Because people seem like they don't really handle gank fights well most of the time. And I'm not one to talk. I don't handle gank enemies well in the games. So I was nice, Pepco. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't struggle that hard with the Demon Prince. When I did my first playthrough of the DLC, I died once in the Demon Prince, the actual Demon Prince phase. Like, I got through the gank part pretty easily, and then I just died to the Spirit Bomb, and then after I went back and killed him. So I don't think they're that bad, but I don't know. I did think that it would be higher. But I think it's very manageable because of what I talked about. It's a slow but fast gank. It's very easy to deal with because of that. And the second phase, even with the... Like I said, you should go for not the one who does the Spirit Bomb. Honestly, he's not that bad. It's a Spirit Bomb instead of laser. It's very easy to hit him during the Spirit Bomb, and it's easy to stagger him out of it. It's not so bad. But I don't know. I guess maybe considering what's above it, I can see it. And speaking of princes, the Twin Princes voted 5th hardest boss. They came in higher than on the old ranking. They're 2 lower than mine. But I feel a little justification, okay? People always talk shit about me not being good at the princes, and fuck you, DMod. Why don't you just get good, bitch? Well, they came in at 7. 8.65 out of 10. 5th easiest boss. Lord Yoder.
Loving the stream. Keep up all the good work.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you're liking the stream. Thank you very much for the support. Very, very majestic, my friend. Appreciate it, dude. Feels good, man. Justification. People find the Twin Princes hard. It's not just fucking me. You, YouTube commenter, who's watching this shit right now and is getting ready to type your fast fingers and say, fuck you, Demon. Fuck you. Fuck everybody who ranked him up here. No, no, no. They're hard, all right? Sometimes. Not all the time, okay? Sometimes. Some of us are greedy, okay? Some of us are greedy. Some of us struggle with things, and that's okay. Don't judge me, and don't judge all the people that ranks him as 7. I'm just fucking kidding. I don't care. If you think the Twin Princes are easy, I can totally understand why. Personally, I suck ass at the fight. I've gotten better over time, but whatever. The speedrun I posted in my fucking channel, I had a no-hit fight with them, and that was the best moment of my life. No, it wasn't, but it was pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyway, let's move on. Just barely outranking the Princes, by the way. Just barely, by the way. And also, 6th hardest, not 5th hardest. That people voted him 6th hardest, not 5th. Just pointing that out. Pontiff Sullivan comes in at 6, which it's a lot lower, or a lot higher than my list. And he did go down 1 previously. Again, it's because he's a pretty easy boss to parry. Like, he's just easy to parry. But if you can't parry, then fuck yeah, it's a hard fight. It's pretty much the long and short of it. Let's let this play.
Thanks for all the work and things you do. I genuinely get excited to see when you have uploaded any new content, and I really appreciate your commitment to your community, even though some of your criticism I think is undeserved. Dr. GR8, tie less than 3.
Toll Doctor. Thank you for that, Brian. Brian's the voice I use for that, by the way. Thank you very much for the 729. I really do appreciate it, Matthew. And I appreciate the kind words. I always read the comments on my YouTube. And again, the comments on my YouTube generally are very positive. I didn't quit doing the rankings and all that stuff because the comments were negative. That was just the thing that tipped the scale. I was already kind of iffy about finishing rankings and stuff like that because I just wanted to do new things on YouTube. And the negativity was enough to push it over the stack. But I'm always open to criticism, really. I mean that when I say it. I'm open to constructive criticism, and I can push the harsh negativity aside. That's always going to exist on YouTube. I'm not worried about that stuff. The In Defense of Dark Souls 2 video was directly in response to the people who I think are legitimate fans of my content, want to see me grow as a content creator, and we're trying to provide feedback. And I think it's justified for me to respond to those people. And I think that's important to do as a YouTuber. And a lot of people seem to respect that. So I appreciate it, Matthew, and thank you to everyone else who was willing to listen to that video. I do appreciate it. But yeah, but getting back to Pontiff, like I said, it's definitely a hard fight. It's one of the hardest fights in the game for sure, if you can't parry. But if you can, it's pretty difficult. Or if it's pretty not difficult. God damn it. Number 5, Soul of Cinder, which got 3rd best boss. I was actually pretty surprised about that. 3rd best boss in the game. And I was pretty surprised about the ranking too. It went up 1. It went up a few from my ranking. I thought people found Soul of Cinder to be pretty easy. I remember getting a lot of comments back on my Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls 3 ranking back a year ago. People found Soul of Cinder to be easy in the comments, at least. They were like, super easy boss, like super, super easy. I've always found Cinder hard for the reasons I said in my personal video. I find it really hard to balance between when to hit and when not to hit, just like with the Princes, because sometimes it looks like he's going to follow up, and sometimes it looks like he's not going to, and it's a real battle of knowing when to input an attack and when to dodge. That's really what it comes down to. He outputs a lot of damage. There's 2 phases, even though the second phase is a lot more easy to manipulate. Still, I think Soul of Cinder probably deserves a spot. Maybe like it's a little high, maybe, I think, but still, he is a pretty hard fight. It's just a second fight the second phase that's not there. And I can see a couple people in the chat that are saying that. I missed the sub, Entaf. Did I? Because Twitch is... Now I'm going to scroll up and see if I can see it. I did. You're right. Tastes like... Wait, what is that? Tastes like smegma. Ugh. Tastes like smegma. Thank you for the sub. I'm sorry I missed it, man. I have my Twitch alerts set up, but because of this new sub beta that Twitch is doing, I'm not getting all of my Twitch alerts. But thank you very much for the sub. I'm sorry I missed it. Chat is scrolling by very, very quickly. But I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, Soul of Cinder, maybe a little bit high. I know some people don't find him to be too hard, but obviously there's quite a few people in the community that do, and I really do like that people ranked him as best boss. I wonder how much that has to do with his theme. I do. I think he's a great boss. I love Soul Center. I'm pretty sure I put him in my top 10 on the boss ranking, but I was surprised that the community ranked him there. Anywho, let's move on to the last of the new game bosses. New game, base game. What the fuck, D-Mod? Number 4, Nameless King. Still the king of difficulty in the base game. Nameless King comes in at 4 with a quite significant bump to 9.8 out of 10. 4th most hardest boss, 5th most votes for best. And he moved up 2 from my ranking, and he stayed consistent with the old ranking if you're not counting the DLC. If you don't count the DLC, he was the hardest boss originally in the ranking, and he's number 4 here. I think the ranking's fine. I definitely still think Nameless is a hard fight. I do think it is easier than people make it out to be. I think that the reason he got bumped a little, granted some of the DLC bosses are pretty hard, but I think it's just because people have had more time with him. He was really hard when the game came out, but I think with people having more time with it, it became a lot more manageable to fight him, because once you know his tells and attacks, it's a lot easier to handle. Salty. Yeah, I think this might be one that's a little controversial, but hey, this is where the community ranked him as a whole, all right? These aren't my rankings. This is where you guys put him. You guys put him at number 4, and I don't know. I bought into the hype at the time. I even put him at number 2 on my top 10 artist boss list, but I bought into the hype so much. But when really I killed him on, I had 4 fights in my original playthrough. The first 2, I died to the Wyvern, or the Storm Drake, and then on the 3rd one, I fought him and died in like right in the beginning, and then the next fight I just killed him. And ever since sure, I died in Nameless King sometimes. He's not the easiest boss because he's an endurance fight and he puts out a lot of damage, but you know, it's just not too bad. Most difficult boss in DS3 is Freed. Well, number 3 is Sister Freed. Which, this was the point where, like I said, I weight my scores based on how much they receive for hard and then subtract points for getting easy. She got voted 3rd hardest boss and tied for least easy boss, so she got bumped above 10 out of 10, like a few in the past have, which means all of the remaining bosses are higher than 10 out of 10. Freed is above Nameless, and not only is Freed above Nameless, but she got 4th best boss too, by the way. People definitely liked Freed, which I agree with. Freed is a good fight. Don't get me wrong. Freed is a good fight. My only problem with Freed is how reliant she is on, Hold on, I think we got another sub. Nameless King subbed. Nameless King subbed during Nameless King, and it didn't pop up because it's not popping up because of the alerts. I'm really sorry, but thank you, Nameless King, very much for the sub. People got Hegasms for you in the chat, and I'm very, very grateful. Very, very majestic, my friend. Thank you. I think this ranking is good. It's only one different from my own. I think because of Freed's recovery time, she is very difficult. I do think her recovery time is a bit of bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. But she did get voted pretty high for best boss, and I can agree with it. She's definitely one of the best bosses in the game, no doubt about it. It's not enough to push her out of being good just because she recovers fast. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's pronounced Frida. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pronouncing it Freed. I'm sorry. I just like pronouncing things my way. I still say Vicar to this day, even though Vicar Amelia sent me an email about it. But yeah, I agree. I agree with it. It's a good spot for her. I love that she's higher than 10 out of 10, and the remaining bosses are. And now we come to the last 2 bosses, which are the last 2 bosses that I ranked as well. Very, very similar rankings at the top for the most part. And also the best boss with 37.7% of the votes. Let me put this in perspective. Unquestionably, insanely voted for best boss. Like, he received 4 times nearly the votes that the Abyss Watchers received in 2nd place. 4 times. People fucking love this boss. And it's hard to not agree because it's very similar somewhat to an Orphan fight in the first phase and very similar to an Artorias fight in the second phase and 3rd phase, with an homage to Guts from Berserk. And putting aside what it's similar to, it does enough on its own to be a really, really rewarding and amazing fight. I just realized that I miswrote the scores on here. Because Freed is 31, Did I fuck that up? Did I fuck that up? Moella Panda, thank you very much for the 8 months. Let me make sure I didn't fuck this up. I'm gonna laugh if I did.
Keep up the good work.
I did! I actually fucking did! Gale, okay, rip. I fucked it up. Gale is supposed to be number 3, and Frida's supposed to be 2. So, reverse-a-roo, my bad. I figured somewhere I'd fuck up, so, whoops. Whoops! Didn't mean to, sorry. Captain Whittletubs, thank you very much for the 3 months, man. Enjoy the Beautiful Ember, and thank you very much. So, let's just, yeah, so Freed's number 2. Shh, I didn't fuck up anything. And Gale is number 3. Anyway, whatever. Okay, I spent like hours making these cards yesterday in fucking GIMP, which is poor man's Photoshop. Okay. I get it, chat. I get it, alright? Anyway, moving on. Lol, DMod, you fucked up. Anyway, moving on. Second hardest boss, which, so he got voted second hardest boss, and Freed got voted third. I don't know. Interchangeable, guys. Honestly, they're pretty much tied. Alright? They're pretty much tied, okay? Gale is a very hard boss. So is Freed. It doesn't really matter. Potato. We all know Meteor's the hardest. Let's just get on with it. Meteor, either way, received 0.4 more points. Almost 11 out of 10. Almost 11 out of 10 on Dark Eater Meteor. And winner of hardest boss with 47.1% of the vote. Almost out of 2 people who took the fucking survey, 1 person out of each voted for Meteor as the hardest boss. Like, let me bring the survey data back up really quick, and let me go all the way over to hardest boss really quick and see what the next one was. Yeah, he got 2,421 votes. The next was Gale with 837, which is about 3 times the votes that the next one got. Just fucking insane, which, hey, I ranked him at the top 2.
Just wanted to thank you for all the Dark Souls content. It's my favorite game series. Sad that there won't be as much content anymore, but thanks for the ride and looking forward to what you got coming up. Both Zelda and beyond. Praise the sun, good sir.
Thank you very much, Wilco. Yes, there is much planned beyond Dark Souls. I still have about a dozen Dark Souls videos, so there's gonna be that. More planned beyond Zelda 2. We're gonna cover a bunch of different topics in gaming and specific games and stuff on the channel. It's gonna be really awesome. I'm glad that you're excited about it. It is bittersweet for me to leave the Dark Souls content, but I am very, very excited about the future. I feel very invigorated. As you can see, I've uploaded a lot of videos. I'm very, very excited about the future. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for the $5. I really do appreciate it. Let's talk about Meteor. Again, ridiculous amount of votes for hardest boss. That definitely helped boost him to his 10.71 ranking. One thing that confuses me, 7th in voting for both best and worst. Well, I would say confuses me, but it doesn't really confuse me. Excuse me.
Favorite YouTuber, favorite streamer, favorite casual less than 3, get yourself a bind, mate.
Thank you very much, Magma. I really appreciate the $10. And I never know what to say when people tell me I'm their favorite YouTuber or streamer. That's just very, very flattering. Favorite casual, fuck you, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for the $10. I will get myself a pint after this. Well, actually, after this, we're going to play some games. But I will later. Thank you very much, man. So I guess, personally, I'll talk about my opinion on Meteor in a second. But I think the reason he got best and worst at 7... I think people just don't like, some people don't like how hard the fight is. Like, I think some people just don't like how easy Meteor can kill you because he has such a girthy HP bar, like, so much health. Like, I can see it down here. I can see people, 7th worst, DMODU, Meteor is trash, lol. Like, okay, here's what I think. I actually said it at the end of my Bloodborne speedrun, so for any of you who watched all the way to the end of that Bloodborne speedrun, fucking love you. I actually think Meteor might be my 2nd favorite boss in the Souls series now. Still behind Ludwig. Ludwig is still my favorite, but I love Meteor. And the reason I love Meteor is because I feel like Meteor... at first, I didn't really know what to think, but after I thought about it for a while, I just feel like he represents so much about what is a good Dark Souls boss. He's very, very fair. Yes, he has an insanely large health bar. Yes, he does a lot of damage, but he has very good tells for every single one of his attacks, and every single one of them has a punishable window afterward. Probably the only thing I don't like about the fight is the camera. I know the camera can be a little bit of a pain when he decides to do that fucking crawling crazy attack, but I really like this fight. I really, really like this fight, and I think that's evidenced. I think that other people do like the fight too, but I think there's just obviously just as many people that hate the fight. They really, really don't. Yeah, the his fit attack is annoying. Probably his only attack that is pretty annoying. But even that attack, if you know where to go, if you run to the back left of where he's running, then you can actually be where his head's going to be. But I can't disagree. I ranked him at the top. I put in the Dark Souls 2 response video a kill I did where I didn't even heal, but I mean, that's a 1 in like 10 fight for me. Like, I usually have to heal a lot during this fight. I don't die to him much, but I can totally understand why people would. It's not easy. It's not. But I feel like it really does reward skill, and that is exactly what I want in a Dark Souls boss. I want a boss that's going to punish me when I'm out of position, but if I take good positions, then I get rewarded, and that's what I feel like is good. Tail swipe is BS. You're right, Tion. But if you never try to attack his butt and smack that booty, like I've always told you, then you never get the tail attack. As long as you never find yourself behind him, he never attacks with the tail, which is nice. Shut up, Bloodborne noobs. Ludwig #1. Boss music is very good. Boss music is really good all throughout the DLC. It's really, really good.
Jim is number 1 Motigasm, but you failed. Dad mod trap still love you mod cars.
Thank you, Duo Tacos. Yes, I fucked up. I knew I'd fuck up on one of the cards. I just didn't think I'd fuck up the actual numbering. Lol. Anyway. Whatever, man. It's over. That's it. That's the end of the rankings. That's all I really have to say. I didn't have much to say on each boss because I've talked about them plenty at this point. You guys know my opinion on them, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to see what the community said because over 2,000 people voted in the Dark Souls 2 areas. Over 5,000 people voted in this. I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to see the results in less than a way of me just posting like a Word doc or something like that and saying, here it is. Here's the results. I wanted to do something for you guys. I know this isn't my typical edited content that's going to have like all the same jokes and stuff in it. I know it's a little bit different. And that's it. I keep rambling on for a while, but I think you all get the idea. I hope you enjoyed my Final Souls ranking, and it's truly been a pleasure making these videos with you all. I couldn't be more excited for the future of the channel, and I really do look forward to making videos that aren't held back by having to compare one thing to another. I hope you're all excited too. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.